All right. Hello, everyone, and now welcome to a game. This game is going to be a Night Elf versus Night Elf mirror match taking place here on Tidehunters version 1.2. We have EleGaNt spawning as the red Night Elf over here on the bottom right-hand side of the map, going up against Jens, who is the blue Night Elf player. Let's go ahead and just get straight to that 2-minute mark of the game where, well, all of the action really begins. And for you guys out there who, like to keep tabs on me, I'm pretty much a single father for the week, as life is going to be throwing me some curveballs. Wife, or what Mrs. Time Nazi, if any of you guys remember that name back on Twitch a long time ago, is out at work, traveling, so I get to do all of this, parenting solo. So if you see me tuck my head over to the side or give directions to my children, you know, well, they need a little bit of direction while I do a little bit of morning casting and try to get into a good groove. For all of you guys out there, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Oh, I think they adjust my camera down. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. If you guys do have that Twitch Prime sub free to use, definitely consider using it on a channel. Doesn't have to be mine. There are plenty of other channels out there that could use the support. I guess just a way to, take some money from the man, so to speak, and give it back to the players in the community if you have a free Twitch Prime. For all of you other guys out there, thank you for watching without ad block and all of those things, or all of the super cheers and the super comments. It definitely does help me out in the end. As well, it keeps the party going a little while longer, right? Like, not that I feel guilty that I have to keep on doing these things, and it's something that I do definitely enjoy, and I definitely don't do it for the money. Yeah, getting paid less than minimum wage, especially minimum wage in California, I think it's like $15, $20 if you work at a fast food restaurant. I could definitely earn more working at fast food than I do, well, trying to cast WarCraft 3. Anyways, let's go ahead and break things down. Demon Hunter going to clean up some Tidehunters here, gets to level 3, and he does have level 1 Immolation, does have level 1 Mana Burn, and is still playing very close to home. Both sides still playing very close to home. Keeper of the Grove sitting at level 2, and that does come as a surprise. Normally, the Keeper of the Grove is much more of a tempo-based hero, can clear out creep camps quickly with those treants, and just get to level 3 very fast. Instead, this time around, it is going to be the Demon Hunter. The Demon Hunter getting to level 3 first. Does pick up a Staff of Teleportation and does spot that this Tree of Life was trying to get it set up here. Meanwhile, his own Tree of Life now thrown down here at the 3 o'clock spot. Keeper of the Grove still making quick work out of all of this here. Archer is doing a lot of pelting. Keeper of the Grove going to pick up a Slippers of Agility, a little bit of additional armor, as we will finally get to level 3. Alright, so level 3 after that last little Murloc there. Didn't drop and pick up the Mantle of Intelligence. A little bit of mana loss, but not that big of a deal, as the Demon Hunter sells the Potion of Greater Mana. Yeah, no real reason to have Potion of Greater Mana there. And we do see level 2 Mana Burn. We're going to see a Mana Burn right straight off. And now we see a quick Entangle. That's just going to be a little bit of superficial damage. Oh, the Wisp could get in front. Oh, no. I thought the Wisp for a second was going to try to get in front, do a little bit of path blocking, and then let another round of arrows get into that Demon Hunter, turning him into a pincushion just a bit more. And, well, every bit of damage on that Demon Hunter means that those Moonwells are just going to be that much more dry, or more of that damage is, well, quote-unquote sticky. Now, we are looking at the Keeper of the Grove placing pressure down on this Tree of Life here that is at the 3 o'clock spot. The treants, they're making a lot of damage, trying to separate them out, make sure that there is no easy detonation, as we are looking at a Naga Sea Witch follow-up by EleGaNt. So there's a cold arrow, and this could potentially be a problem. Tree of Life not yet at tier 2, so it is going to be a little bit of time before we see another hero come in from Jens. Alright, Scroll of Town Portal now inbound. Demon Hunter, well, what is he going to try and do? Perhaps go after some of these units. There's some treants. We're going to see a Mana Burn onto that Keeper of the Grove. The Keeper of the Grove going to be in a really tough spot here, especially with those cold arrows and that Demon Hunter trying to chase him down. That's a lot of damage onto that Keeper of the Grove. The Keeper of the Grove actually teleporting into a difficult position and may find himself, well, in a bad spot here. Meanwhile, if you look at the mini-map, you can see that the Naga Sea Witch is trying to get in front of this Keeper of the Grove and, well, lay down a couple of cold arrows, and that's exactly what the plan is. And, oh, using that line of sight to break sight there, beautifully done, as the Demon Hunter now teleports back off to the north to go after this Tree of Life again. Meanwhile, we are looking at... EleGaNt is trying to set up another expansion here. Keeper of the Grove is nearby. There's a couple of archers. Demon Hunter, well, Keeper of the Grove does have a Staff of Teleportation. He's going to try to Staff of Teleportation out. This is going to be a definite problem. That's going to be far too much damage. He has no real way out of here. Down to 57, down to 12 hit points. Demon Hunter nearly gets the kill on the Keeper of the Grove as the Demon Hunter now backs away. No entangle as we see a Priestess of the Moon. Potom. Well, Priestess of the Moon Potom, but for those archers, everyone getting essentially level 1 weapon upgrades for free as we are now going into tier 3. Gens could be going into that, well, triple Orb of Venom strategy. Keeper of the Grove, Priestess of the Moon, all of them very, very powerful. And if you add in a third ranged hero, and then you're stacking with those heroes on that focus fire, well, add in that 10% damage bonus, that additional damage over time that stacks if it's a different Orb of Venom, and then suddenly, those 3 heroes can attack 3 separate targets in rounds, and you're gonna see that that first target is low on hit points. Speaking of low on hit points, Archer easily taken down there. So the ebb and flow of this battle, a lot of small units that could get picked off here. Keeper of the Grove trying to get some entangles down. Does get an entangle down onto that Naga Sea Witch. Now, is that Sea Witch going to be able to escape down to 87 hit points? We're going to see some Staff of Teleportation trying to retreat back here. Priestess of the Moon, Naga Sea Witch is still in position. There's a mana burn, and that Priestess of the Moon's mana is a little bit of a liability more than anything, as we're going to see an Archer get taken down as well. All right, Dryads, mana burn once more. And the archers, still trying to retreat back, do have superior range at 700 compared to the Dryad 6. Or excuse me, compared to the Dryads 5. But with the Demon Hunter and that slow poison, they're able to pick off slow hit point units pretty easily. We're going to see a last hit, yes, by that Demon Hunter. 37 supply compared to 33. Everything is still pretty much very even now. We're looking at the Keeper of the Grove dropping, picking up items again. Priestess of the Moon barely on the board with any experience, as we now see Hippogryphs take to the skies. All right, so Hippogryph Rider, they actually get less range somehow. I'm not quite sure why it works out that way. I feel like Hippogryph Riders should actually have superior range, right? I mean, for 16 to 18 or 16 to 18 damage, the archers are shooting from the sky here. Should have a little bit more range, but perhaps they lose accuracy. Thematically, I guess, well, I guess it kind of makes sense, but, well, Hippogryph Riders aren't that powerful to begin with, except for the fact that they can mount and dismount easily, making it so that suddenly they become their own strong anti-air if there is any sort of additional targets. All right, we're looking at a lot of damage onto this Tree of Life. Surprisingly, a lot here. We remember, we do not see Nature's Blessing. There's some tree ants. There's a detonation. More wisps making their way over, and there's a detonation again. All right, Tree of Life down to 200 some odd hit points. What is going on here? And EleGaNt just allowing this Tree of Life to fall. All right, so what did that buy? It bought, well, EleGaNt time to continue to clear out creep camps. Druids of the Claw are already at adept training. Rejuvenation on that Demon Hunter, who will get to level 4. Naga Sea Witch is still sitting at level 2 as the units are wandering around here. 48 supply compared to 41. EleGaNt does have the Tree of Eternity, does have mastery training already going. We don't see a third hero by gens. And, well, what is the Keeper of the Grove? What is the long-term plan here? That I still do not know. Druids of the Talon, so Ancient of Winds, Ancient of Wind with the Hippogryph Riders and Druids of the Talon. Perhaps are they going to try and, well, mana, or are they going to try and Cyclone remove some of those additional units, the Druids of the Claw, from the fight, and also with that magic damage, deal large bouts of damage here? All right, we're looking at a little bit. Oh, come on, take down that Nightcrawler. There's the level 6 and the level 3, both getting taken out here. One more final shot. However, Demon Hunter trying to go after some of those additional targets. We see Orb of Venom quickly taking down some of those Hippogryph Riders already, and we don't see an Orb of Venom yet on Jens' heroes. Demon Hunter actually with the Orb of Venom first, able to easily take down a Hippogryph Rider with that auto attack being upgraded to have a range against air units. 21 to 25 damage. Remember, I believe there's the improved marksmanship upgrade on those Hippogryph Riders, in addition to that 1-0 upgrade and that True Shot Aura. So up to 2-0 upgrades. There is healing wards placed in the back behind the Tree of Life. That's actually a beautiful position on that healing ward. Very difficult to click if you did not notice that effect right there. So, yeah, nicely done. If you are fighting on the battle there and you can get away with small little tricks like that, definitely go for it as the Demon Hunter tries to dive in here. All right, we're going to be looking at Druid of the Claw. There goes one, and no Staff of Preservation on the from the Naga Sea Witch. We're still seeing a little bit more damage. Perhaps the Demon Hunter is going to get Staff of Preservation to back out here. Archers and Hippogryphs trying to retreat back. Demon Hunter most likely going to be teleporting back here in just a moment. Level 3 now, Naga Sea Witch here as we're seeing more damage come on through. Demon Hunter back up to 420 hit points, trying to fight defensively. We see the Tree of Eternity joining in on the battle. Demon Hunter going after this Keeper of the Grove. Keeper of the Grove, Potion of Healing, and now the Demon Hunter down to 57 hit points, going to be forced to retreat back. Staff of Teleportation. The the Keeper of the Grove teleports to the far side. 40 supply compared to 43. Not sure who actually came out in terms of damage. All right. Hippogryph Rider coming back down to the south here. We see, well, a little bit of pelting damage. That Dryad already down to 76. Priestess of the Moon, or excuse me, Keeper of the Grove now with that Orb of Venom for that damage over time. And we're looking at the, well, Naga Sea Witch, Demon Hunter causing some big problems. All right, are we just going to pelt down to this? Yes, that Entangled Goldmine, an easy target. Not anything really lost there, as we're going to see some damage come back the other way once more. Orb of Venom. A little bit of flighty damage there. As the Hippogryph Rider 1-0 upgrades, it does not. Getting Ultra Vision now. We're going to see some more Hippogryph Riders perhaps, and also get some Ancient of Winds. Training up those Druids of the Talon. Priestess of the Moon now at level 3. So 2-0 upgrades from that True Shot Aura on top of the 1-0 upgrades already for those archers. And, well, Druids of the Talon don't get an additional damage bonus, but do benefit from that range bonus here. So now suddenly up to +2, up to 15 damage, and that may not sound like much, but remember, for a 2 supply unit, doing 15 damage, and then when you add in the bonus damage versus heavy armor, suddenly that's 30 damage, maybe even 60 damage when you compare 4 supply to 4 supply. All right. Both sides getting ready to engage. There's a quick entangle. There's a dispel. There's a mana burn here. Quick exchange going back and forth as the Hippogryph Riders trying to, pelt down a Dryad. That Dryad easily getting it finished off here with that, 600 range against those Dryads 5. Meanwhile, Naga Sea Witch bringing in the pain with the bears. 25 supply army going to be walking into Jens' base here, and Staff of Teleportation inbound, full Night Elf army ready to take things down. Meanwhile, perhaps it's going to be another expansion trade, and are we going to see a Scroll of Town Portal? We need to see a Scroll of Town Portal back. There's going to be a couple of quick detonations as we're looking at the Naga Sea Witch trading back as well. All right, so trying to exchange bases for bases. Tree of Eternity needs to get Nature's Blessing perhaps, especially if they're just going to exchange blows. We are getting that improved Wellspring Blessing, one of those things that often gets overlooked by Night Elf players, but it is incredibly important, especially during Nightfall, to have faster mana regeneration for those Moonwells and larger mana capacity to keep all of your units alive and well here. Now, In terms of synergy, I believe the Priestess of the Moon, if it gets to level 3, then level 5, this flying ranged army is really going to be benefiting a lot more from that damage. However, the Druids of the Claw with mana and access to rejuvenation, that becomes a resource as well. Being able to heal up your own units time and time again, incredibly important as the Gargantuan Sea Turtle and all of these units now make their way over. Are we going to see summoning of some Treants? We are at level 4, level 3. It looks like one of the Treants didn't get or actually maybe? No, one of the Treants didn't get summoned and perhaps didn't lay down or wasn't cast on enough trees again. 53 supply compared to 50. It has been one base play on both sides for quite a while, and now with the Hippogryph riders trying to challenge Hippogryphs, I wonder if we're actually going to see mounting and dismounting, right? Remember, once you dismount those archers, suddenly you have a Hippogryph, and you also have a ground-based archer who's able to deal significant damage against the Hippogryph. So you do come out on top. One benefit, though, is there is vampiric aura on this Demon Hunter from that, well, Scourge Bone Chimes, giving it to those Hippogryphs as well, and that is going to be a lot of regeneration. 50 to 57, I believe it's a 10 or 15% regeneration, but they attack very quickly, so that's an additional 5 to 7 seconds, or 5 to 7 hit points per second, which is very effective healing. All right, coming back around, Druids of the Talon here. Are they perhaps going to try and attack up as well? Priestess of the Moon still seeing that level 3. Plenty of survivability items as the map starting to lose the majority of the creep camps here. And, well, we need to start seeing some fighting against each other. There's a big roar as well. That's a 25% damage bonus. And that is going to be huge as well. We are seeing, well, Dryads fall off as well. How are we going to try and engage this? That is still the question. All right, here we are. Here we go. Both sides are going to start to fire and engage. And there you go. There's the Hippogryph riders dismounting. Units trying to fall back here, and they're just trying to dive into this spot. All right, there goes one Druid of the Claw here. Hippogryph riders able to push back those other Hippogryph riders. 2 bears going to get lost. And suddenly EleGaNt is behind on supply. Those Hippogryph riders going back and forth. Archer is going to go ahead back up into the skies. Are they going to dismount again? That is the question. Now, Naga Sea Witch gets up to level 4. Remember, Naga Sea Witch does have that Fork Lightning that does help as well, as we are fighting over Moonwells here. So Jen's getting a little bit of an advantage there as we see I thought another Hippogryph rider would have Hippogryph would have fallen. That is not the case. A bunch of low hit point units already falling back. You're welcome. All right. Level 5, level 4, going up against level 5, level 4. Demon Hunter, Naga Sea Witch, looking to retreat all the way back. The gold mines, very low on gold, down to about 3.5 minutes of mining, and that is it. Nature's Blessing has not been researched on the north side by Gens. EleGaNt has. So EleGaNt will be able to move this Tree of Eternity easily into this northern spot if the time comes. Meanwhile, Keeper of the Grove, Orb of Venom, going to go ahead and try to activate this Sea Giant Hunter creep camp. There is some dismounting. There's a Scroll of Healing. Oh, that's a beautiful use that I'd never even considered. Dismounting all of your units using the Scroll of Healing and then remounting again essentially doubles the effectiveness of that healing, as we're going to be looking around here. All right, Archer trying to turn back around. There's going to be a little bit of damage. Are we going to see a dismount? Low hit point. Hippogryph rider already retreating back. Druid of the Talon looks like he's going to end up falling. There's a Fork Lightning, but not hitting. Oh, beautiful Staff of Preservation for the save there. Keeper of the Grove could be in trouble. What's the Priestess of the Moon doing to try and help here? And the Demon Hunter doesn't want to try and engage. All right. Keeper of the Grove, well, seems to be a little bit in trouble here. Hippogryphs now once more on the move. We're looking at, well, the Demon Hunter making its way back here. Hippogryph riders doing a little bit of a poke coming back on the far side. Keeper of the Grove wants to get off some entangles, but those Dryads of EleGaNt are really going to shut that down far too quickly. there's 2 Dryads here. Perhaps if the Hippogryph riders can poke them down first and then start entangling those Druids of the Claw to try and remove them from the equation in terms of damage. Even if you don't finish off the unit, having them not attacking is going to be a big bonus, as they're just clogging up the battlefield. Both sides sitting in no upkeep, 50 to 50 supply. A little bit of a dance back and forth. And we're looking at the main gold mines now, only about 90 or 80 seconds of mining left now, as the Demon Hunter makes its way back over. All right, Hippogryph riders do spot this. Going to go ahead, go straight after one Dryad. One Dryad quickly taking down the rest of the Hippogryph riders trying to chase. They're not going to be able to do that. And the mobility for Jens allowing him to pick off a unit here and now perhaps put in some pressure. We can see that there is Staff of Preservation brings the Demon Hunter home. There's a quick entangle, Invul Potion, Mana Burn onto the Keeper of the Grove already, as the units are already trying to retreat back. There's a Staff of Preservation as well, saving another unit as the units head back off to the north. Couple of easy wisps to try and pick off here. Are we going to see exactly that? Trying to go after those wisps. There's a detonation. There's a no detonation there. Another one taken down. As we see a Treant getting denied here. 62 supply compared to 49. We are looking at perhaps the Tree of Eternity about to pick itself up and move on over. Meanwhile, we do see Nature's Blessing is completed for this Tree of Eternity, so it may be picking itself and walking around as well. 55 or 59 supply compared to 61. Everything is still very much even here, as the Naga Sea Witch and Demon Hunter try to clear out this moss-covered granite golem off to the north. There are units coming, perhaps going to try to flank from the side. There is no Dryads here, and this is a potential creepjack, as we do see a gift-wrapped unit. Who's going to get that last kill there? Someone does, or excuse me, south side gets the last side, as EleGaNt able to pick that off easily. Now continuing to just pick off the Sea Giant Hunter as well. And this may be exactly what EleGaNt needs to come out on top. Just a little bit of additional items, a little bit of additional experience to tip things in favor, as this is a very balanced game here at the 23-minute mark. Tree of Eternity already on the move. Did he eat some trees first along the way? No, he did not. Meanwhile, this Tree of Eternity already on the move at full hit points. Both sides are going to try to pick off the other Tree of Eternity. And look at this. Tree of Eternity going to take a lot of damage. All right, poking back around here. Are we going to see the Hippogryphs try to do the battle? There's a Staff of Preservation. Those Hippogryphs able to take apart one or two of those Hippogryph riders pretty fast. 23 to 31 damage, plus 5 off of those Hippogryph riders, and even throwing in the Goblin Shredder as well. Trying to take down these Moonwells. Moonwells do have that Wellspring Blessing, and that's exactly what EleGaNt wants to do. Fight surrounded by those pools of healing water, and try to be challenged. Off to the north, Jen's currently entangling this gold mine here. Both sides lying in wait, ready to get just a little bit more gold, as we're looking at this granite or moss-covered granite golem about to get taken down. Priestess of the Moon gonna try and clear it out purposely. Keeper of the Grove gonna try and back away. There's an entangle onto the Demon Hunter, and here we are. That gets taken down. Priestess of the Moon gonna perhaps grab those items. What was the last item? Kagar's Pipe of Insight. That is a great item pickup just to deny from your opponent, as the Dryads and the Druids of the Claw are not gonna have extra mana in this upcoming battle. All right, Priestess of the Moon trying to retreat back. Does have Searing Arrows as well. We're looking at this this gold mine just now getting completed. They're able to jump inside, and a fight over here on the northern side. All right, EleGaNt can force a battle here, as both sides are now operating on one base and need that base to make sure that they don't fall behind further. All right, the unit's going to try and retreat back there. There's going to be a round of attacks onto a Hippogryph. Hippogryph nearly gets taken down. That little bit of superior range, now going after some of those extra units again, as we see some rejuvenation. 65 compared to 48 supply. Even a Goblin Shredder in on the battle. No repairs. Tree of Eternity has taken a little bit of damage, as the Hippogryph still trying to challenge here. Are we going to see an entangle? We do not. And the Tree of Eternity now taking some damage from those bears. Trying to retreat back here. Hippogryph Riders are going to see a dismount. No, we do not see a dismount here. We're seeing a little bit of attack going back and forth. There's a Fork Lightning. Oh, there's one Hippogryph that is actually in, well, without a rider, and that was able to deal quite a bit of pecking damage there. 51 supply compared to 50. Mining is still happening here as the Tree of Eternity seems to be mining away pretty easily. All right, there's an entangle taking down one of those Druids of the Claw as the Keeper of the Grove able to do his thing. Perhaps he's going to be able to shut down another one. Now focusing after the Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter could get taken down. No, Staff of Preservation for the save as both sides are fighting. Priestess of the Moon gets up to level 5. Level 3 True Shot Aura should be ready. There's a Staff of Preservation for the Hippogryph, but that doesn't really remove him out of harm's way as the units try to fall back here. No more additional. Oh, are we going to see a Searing Arrow? One more final shot. There goes a Druid of the Claw again. Priestess of the Moon does have level 3 True Shot Aura plus 18 damage, and then add Searing Arrow damage on top of that. All right. See, these Moonwells need to get drained up here, and now perhaps be able to do a little bit more. Druids of the Claw trying to take down the Tree of Eternity. Hippogryph Riders trying to act as a little bit of protection here as we're putting ourselves through the paces. On the southern side, 45 compared to 51. Mana burn right there. Priestess of the Moon could have gotten at least one shot off. Remember, that damage is relatively high for that Priestess of the Moon. Not quite sure why it doesn't have an Orb of Venom, though. It could have definitely stayed in low upkeep, grabbed an Orb of Venom first. Definitely worth it to stay out of low upkeep for a little while longer. 49 supply compared to 53. Gold advantage for EleGaNt right now, with only a slight supply advantage by gens. All right, here we are. Here we go. Hippogryph Riders are going to try and engage. Going to turn back around. There's anti-magic potion. Demon Hunter. Treants coming alive here. Both sides going to be poking apart. Hippogryph Riders chasing down Hippogryphs chasing down Hippogryphs. Treants, all right, Keeper of the Grove could be in trouble. Down to 76 hit points, down to 30. He gets taken down. Level 6 on the Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter goes into Metamorphosis mode, and that may be it. Level 6 Metamorphosis could cause some serious problems, especially against this Tree of Eternity, who takes full damage from Chaos. All right. What is Jens going to do here? Jens, at the same time, is he going to try to defend this position? This is going to be really tough. There's a roar, and now, well, up to 77 damage here, just trying to finish off this Tree of Eternity. Tree of Eternity easily going to fall, and with, well, Jens too far away from the Tree of Eternity at the 3 o'clock spot, not going to be able to stop the mining. EleGaNt in a great position now. What is this Keeper of the Grove going to try and do? He's going to try and run all the way back home, heal up from all of these Moonwells, and then Staff of Teleportation back over. All right. Gonna heal up Moonwell. Nope, yes. Staff of Preservation brings the Demon Hunter back down here. We're trying to take down the Entangled Gold Mine, and now we see a quick Entangle onto the Demon Hunter, only to see a quick detonation. Mass Repair onto the Entangled Gold Mine here, and EleGaNt should be able to jump back into that Entangled Gold Mine and get a lot of healing again. All right. However, those Hippogryph Riders do have big damage, plus 8 damage overall, essentially 6-0 upgrades between the 3-0 and then that True Shot Aura. Some big damage here. Just one volley from all of those units, and you can see how quickly a Naga Sea Witch can get felled. All right, Naga Sea Witch falls at level 5, but it does not give any hero levels to the Keeper of the Grove or this Priestess of the Moon. All right. I'm going to sell some items. Not quite sure what it picked up there. Gloves of Haste still on that Priestess of the Moon, trying to min-max all of that damage. The Kagar's Pipe of Insight was sold, and we're looking at, well, EleGaNt not being able to do very much here. All right, we see a couple of Hippogryphs. Are they going to try and engage? The Hippogryph Riders just need to be off to the side. If there's a place for those archers to dismount, the archers can fire a volley of arrows first at those Hippogryphs, and then stay on the ground, dismount, stay on the ground as the Hippogryphs engage against each other. All right. 3-0 upgrades. Priestess of the Moon making its way back over that plus 8 damage. Quite a bit here. And now going to easily finish off this entangled gold mine as it's trying to get constructed again. We're going to see a little bit of a fighting. Demon Hunter could easily get in some Orb of Venom swipes. Doesn't do it, though, as the Tree of Eternity is in trouble. Without that Naga Sea Witch and the threat of Forked Lightning, the Hippogryph Riders just seem to be okay. And they're not getting burst down. There's no big damage here as this Tree of Eternity is about to fall. All right, even with the level 6 Demon Hunter, and even though he had the economic advantage for he couldn't close out this game, and Jens is hanging around long enough perhaps to come away with the victory. Are we going to see a resurrection? 17 more seconds to resurrect that Naga Sea Witch. That is going to be key here. Both sides are trying to fight their way through. Down goes some of those units, and now we see some attack on the back. Hippogryph Riders in the back trying to finish off some of those additional as the Metamorphosis is back online, and that will buy time for the Naga Sea Witch to make its way back out onto the battlefield. However, well, Keeper of the Grove does have access to Tranquility, and with that, we've seen how powerful Tranquility can be, being able to keep everything topped off on hit points, both useful in and out of combat. Are we going to see an entangle? All right, in comes some fighting here. Going to go straight after that Naga Sea Witch. Naga Sea Witch tries to get off a burst of Forked Lightning. Naga Sea Witch once again, however, taken down quickly as the units try to retreat back. Priestess of the Moon could be in trouble, down to 181 hit points. There's a Staff of Preservation, and the Demon Hunter no longer able to chase easily. Does have an Invul Potion, uses it to break free from that, from that entangle, but the Demon Hunter is not going to be able to do very much here after all. The Priestess of the Moon did get sent back home, was able to heal back up, ready to re-engage here in just a moment. We are looking at an entangling of a gold mine by Jens off to the north, and I believe enough has been done for Jens to not only stabilize, but to get ahead, as, well, EleGaNt cannot force a fight here, as the defensive position of Jens is just too strong, especially with all of that air and that superior air power, and without a Naga Sea Witch to try and use that Forked Lightning to get that initial bursty damage. Coming back through, 38 supply compared to 49. Hippogryph Riders, all that needs to happen is those Hippogryph Riders need to poke some damage on the wings of those Hippogryphs as they fly around. Demon Hunter already maxed out on hit points, but waiting to see how to follow up here. Priestess of the Moon sitting at level 5, nearing level 6 as well. And I guess we're going to see some clearing out of this relatively easy creep camp. But EleGaNt just throws in the towel instead, saying, you know what, good game, good job. There's not much that I can do other than try and force you or have you make an unforced error. But with Jens just staying back and controlling the economic game, able to come away with the victory. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.